Hello and welcome. Transformation does not just affect technology companies or people leading technology positions within companies, but also different kinds of companies, including creative companies. And I'm here talking to the Chief Transformation Officer at WPP, which now calls itself a creative transformation company. And of course, you must have heard about WPP and surely one of their many, many arms in whichever country you live in. Thank you very much for joining me, Lindsay Pattison.
Pleasure.
Lindsay, so as I understand it, your job is to talk and work with the top 50 clients of WPP and try and resolve their problems and concerns from their consumers' point of view. If I've got that right.
Yeah, and actually we have changed my job title now,
Okay.
but I think it's an interesting reason as to why I've changed it. So I was Chief Transformation Officer, but we've undergone a major transformation ourselves with a new CEO in place, that new vision to be a creative transformation company, a new culture of collaboration with values of being open, optimistic and extraordinary. And we want to be very, very, very client-centric. So my title now is Chief Client Officer, and that was one of the first appointments Mark Reed made, along with a Chief Technology Officer, back to the overall theme. So Chief Client Officer and Chief Technology Officer, because that's how the business will grow in the future. Right. So thinking about technology, thinking about creativity, but making sure we're doing that on behalf of our clients.
Right, and which makes some questions simpler, I guess. So when you talk to your top 10 clients, what are their key concerns today? What are they telling you about what's keeping them awake at night and hoping that you'll solve some of those problems?
I think the complexity of the different technologies available and how do you get those technologies to connect to each other. The complexity and the challenges from a regulatory perspective, but also a concern about a privacy perspective in terms of data. So lots of challenges all over the world and different ways of viewing data, walled gardens, who controls the data, who has access to it. Those are two things that are keeping our clients awake at night. I think for most industries, there's a huge challenge actually on the bottom line. So we're still seeing enforced pressure and a real challenge and a focus for us to really prove the return on investment of any marketing investment.
Right, and what is that manifesting, or how is that manifesting itself into the job that you do or your companies under the WPP umbrella do?
I think it means we have to have a real mix of the science of what we do, so being super expert in technology, understanding how to use data in the right way, and understanding how to evaluate and measure and prove ROI. So it's kind of the scientific side of what we do. But I would not want us to ever lose sight of being creative, of being transformative, of having breakthrough ideas that inspire, that connect emotionally with consumers, because we know that the return on investment, when you are able to connect with consumers and inspire consumers in the long run, is really important. So thinking about those macro moments and driving long-term brand value whilst knowing we have micro moments, one-to-one personalization, smart use of data. And I think a particular challenge right now is helping our clients navigate the balance of a long-term investment for brands versus the need for a short-term return for shareholders.
And how can you illustrate that with an example? When you talk about technology and data, more importantly and interestingly from our perspective here, how is that helping you form some of these conclusions and converting those conclusions into either campaigns or effort for your clients?
So the fastest growing areas of our business are commerce, technology and experience. So how we think about combining data and technology to enhance the consumer experience, but ultimately to connect to a sale. So I'll give you an example. In commerce, many people would not know, but WPP is hugely skilled in the back office, what you would think the back office area of infrastructure in creating websites. So I'll give you an example. When Yoox and Net-a-Porter merged, which are two large luxury fashion brands, we created the infrastructure that drives now the world's largest luxury online sales platform. It operates in 180 markets across 11 different languages. It's got 20% market share, as I said, and it transacts an order every 4 seconds. Wow. So that's the kind of technology that we do on behalf of our clients. We might then, more simplistically than that, because that's kind of a digital transformation and infrastructure work that we would do, we'd also make sure that we're putting technology in the hands of consumers. So an example I showed when on stage at your event was for Glitch, which is a product for Adidas, where we are social influencers to actually help us co-create and design a new football boot purely through mobile comms. Those social influencers then created the communication around that boot. They shared it with their friends, and they got that football boot delivered to them within 4 hours. So connected through to purchase, a fantastically successful campaign. So we operate at very consumer levels of digital transformation, and then at kind of macro or industrial levels of digital transformation as well.
Right, and talking about macro and industrial, so you have the traditional companies which, or the legacy companies which have strong brands but maybe weaker on the being digital natives, and then you have the pure digital natives who are obviously eating everyone's lunch. So how are you, and I'm sure you have a role to play in trying to either bring back the consumer or reach the consumer for these older companies, and what are the challenges there?
Well, what Mark Reed has done, our new CEO, so WPP is now structured around the 3 C's. So clients, my role, companies, fewer bigger companies, so I will come back to that because that's really what you're referring to, and then countries. So here in India we have a country manager, Srini, who does a fantastic job in bringing alive what the WPP brand should be and what the product should be here in India. But 2 of the big moves Mark has made is he brought together VML and Y&R. So VML was a digital experience agency, Young & Rubicam traditionally has been an advertising agency. Together they're a brand experience agency. That was the first, the big combination he did. And then the second one is Wunderman Thompson. So Wunderman was the business that Mark ran before, and he was very smart in the companies that he bought during that time. His M&A strategy was really smartly around companies that specialised in Mercato, in Salesforce, in Adobe. So the technology within Wunderman is second to none. JWT is a very well-known brand all over the world. It's actually 150 years old as an ad agency. It's worked with Unilever, for example, for almost 100 years here in India. And it has varying strengths around the world, particularly strong here in Asia, but it is, as you would describe it, more of a traditional creative agency. So those 2 brands have been put together to be Wunderman Thompson. So when clients come to us, we have all of those skills and capabilities in one place. And I think in the past, if we were hard on ourselves, we'd created a lot of complexity with lots of different agencies and companies, and it was quite hard for a client to navigate.
Right, but and if you were to now since you talk about this consolidated front, I would imagine the challenge equally is to ensure that you're finding the right capability within your network to deliver to the client, who obviously wants one person to talk to.
Yes, a SPOC, a senior point of contact, that lovely acronym. So that we have 54 global client teams who have a team leader at the helm who should be able to listen to the client's biggest business challenges. Actually, that's what we're interested in. What are the business challenges? Not what are your marketing challenges, because that's kind of the Mad Men era, 20, 30 years ago, but what are your business challenges? And then they come back into WPP and we look across all of that capability and expertise to see what can we do to help. And by the way, it might mean that we have to go and partner with someone else. It might mean we go and partner with Oracle, we partner with EY, we partner with Microsoft to produce the right solution, and we're very open to doing that.
Right, and that to me seems like quite a dramatic departure from what one would think a WPP company would do.
Yeah, and I think it's back to the fact that under Mark's leadership now we have these 3 core values. So when we're at our best, we're open, we're optimistic, and we're extraordinary. That's what we aspire to be, but I think that word open is really important. And you don't need to have all of your services provided by WPP. We are able to collaborate. We are nice people. We have deep technology partnerships with all the major technology providers around the world. And we banned the phrase frenemies. We're not frenemies. We're partners. We're deep partners, and we want to collaborate more and more because that's what our clients need us to do.
Right.
But it is a change. You're right.
And last question. So as you look ahead, into in 19 and going on to 20, what are the 2 or 3 things that are topmost on your mind? Either the way you see things, or the way you think, or presume your clients are seeing, and to that extent, you should be responding as well.
I think it's back to that point of needing to balance the long-term growth of an organisation. If you don't advertise or don't communicate, then you only have a product, you don't have a brand. So I think we just need to be mindful of that. And I'm not trying to be old-fashioned and say it's all about advertising, but I think we need to be mindful of how do you differentiate between a product and a brand, and the role that communications can play in that, whilst ensuring that we are absolutely super effective and super efficient in all that we do, and that we're really utilising all the data and technology available to make our marketing truly effective.
Right, and is there something that you personally are more focused on? I mean, what are the? I mean, if you have a dashboard in front of you, what are the 2 or 3 buttons that you're looking at?
I would love our clients to be able to say with confidence that WPP is their best partner, easy to navigate, and helping them grow their business.
That's a good note to end on. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.